I'm Lucas Harris, and I'm a lutenist, which means I specialize in playing historical fretted instruments like the lute and the early guitar and the theorbo, some of the instruments I brought today. And the goal of today was to bring in a three-person Baroque continuo section made up of myself playing Baroque guitar and theorbo, my colleague Boris Medicki playing the harpsichord, which he brought in, and also my colleague Laura Jones, who was playing the Baroque cello and the bass viola da gamba. And we looked at four different songs from the famous Italian anthology called the 24 Italian Songs and Arias from G.F. Schirmer. That volume was published in the 1950s, but it comes from an Italian anthology from the 1890s that was put together by an Italian musicologist named Alessandro Parisotto. And what Parisotto did at the time was he took these old Baroque songs and he made arrangements of them using a piano accompaniment. And he made them accessible by giving things like tempo markings, a worked out piano part. He gave dynamics and articulations to the vocal part. And these songs became incredibly famous. And in fact, this volume of songs is probably the most influential book of Italian vocal music there has ever been. Literally tens of thousands of people have sung these songs. So what we're doing today is we had each student sing a few bars of the song using this piano accompaniment from the 1890s, and then we had them sing the same piece from an edition that was based on the original sources and with a Baroque continuo group at a lower pitch. The Baroque instruments were all tuned at Baroque pitch. And then as a group we discussed how it changed the interpretation, whether it made the singer want to sing a little bit faster or use a slightly more nuanced or kind of lighter vocal production. And we just experimented and we had a good time, and I think it was kind of fun for all the students to just hear the instruments first of all, and to know that you know, when we buy a book of published music, that in the case of this book, it has been heavily edited by somebody, and the interpretations that are kind of embedded in the markings in the score are not necessarily those of the composer. And so it's fun to kind of go back to the original source and try to see if we can get one step further towards singing these songs in a way that is more like the way they would have been done at the time.
My name is Laura Jones. I'm a colleague of Lucas Harris, and I came in today to help him shine a new light on some songs that many singers know very well, the 24 Italian Songs and Arias in the famous Yellow Book. And when I was a vocal student in the 80s, I too had this Yellow Book and sang songs from it, but now I had a chance to play some bowed bass we worked on sort of a new approach. It's sort of paradoxically modern to play them in early music style. The book itself is a product of the 19th century, so it had a very romantic approach. And what we do as historically informed musicians is sort of scrape the barnacles off, the romantic barnacles off of these approaches, and play a fresher and sort of newer version, ironically referencing a far older version. We had a really good time today. The students were really engaged and seemed to enjoy seeing the different instruments. I brought both a cello and a viola da gamba, which not a lot of high school students probably get a chance to see. Viola da gamba is a fretted instrument that developed. It was the bowed instrument that intervened between the guitar family and the violin family. So we got a little bit of the history of the string family in there as well.